Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel, Come Ride with T. Happy Friday to everyone, and I hope you have a great weekend. And I just want to say thank you for coming on my channel and watching and supporting, liking, and subscribing. I wanted to do something different this week. I wanted to do a Q&A session called Spilling the Tea. And I thought that would be a neat way for me to possibly answer some questions from the viewers out there that might want to know a little bit more about the bike ride that I have coming up, and to touch bases on that and why I decided to do it and how I'm going about the steps that I'm taking. So the first question, and I have my notes over here. So if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at my notes. But one of the first questions I thought everybody might be interested in and might get a kick out of is what bike ride have you decided to participate in? Because I've talked about the whole purpose of this channel starting out was because there's a bike ride that I really want to do. And that bike ride now I can announce is RAGBRAI. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of RAGBRAI, but this is their 51st bike ride, annual bike ride. And it takes place in Iowa. And this year it's a 7-day event. You don't have to do all 7 days. It's up to the discretion of the rider. But my personal goal, is to do all 7 days. And the route that they've chosen as of January, I think it was around January the 27th, is 424 miles, which I read is one of their shortest routes. However, that route is the reason why it's shorter. They have some routes that they pick every year that are a little shorter, a little longer. But from what I've read, this route has some steep inclines. Oh my goodness. So I don't want to think about that part at all. So, and this ride takes place during my birthday month, which is the week of July 20th through the 27th this year. Now, this is my first time ever participating in this bike ride. And I don't know if those are the dates every year, but for this year, it starts on July 20th and it ends on July 27th. So I'm really excited about it. I want to put myself to the test. I'm going into this to do the best that I can, to prepare myself to the best of my ability, and to have fun, to really, really, really have fun. And then my second question that I thought you guys may be curious about is what made you decide to take part in this bike ride? For me, as some of you may know, my husband passed away at the time that I decided to do this bike ride. It was over 2 years, about 2 years, 6 months, something around in there. And our birthday month came up. We were both born in the month of July. My husband was 2 years and 1 day older than me. So his birthday was the day before mine. And this past July, when my birthday came around, our birthday month came around, I felt myself, I had a lot of melancholy. And I was trying to shake it off. And I was like, okay, Tarsha, you need to get out of the house and you need to do something. And when I said that verbally to myself, the thought came to me, well, you have a bicycle that you changed from your cycling bike, because my husband and I both used to own cycling bikes, because my husband went through some years where he was very into cycling. I won't say I was into cycling. However, because that was his thing, I would ride with him. And so I purchased my own bike, and eventually over the years, he had upgraded my bike twice. So I want to say maybe a year or so ago, I decided to get an e-bike. And anyhow, I want to stay on track because I know I can ramble. But I was reminded that I have a bicycle, and that would be a great way to get out of the house and do something different. At least I committed at least once a week, with no exceptions, for the whole month of our birthday month, which is July. And oh my goodness, I cannot begin to tell you guys what a wonderful time I had. The first day I took it out, I did a national park, and it was such a beautiful day. It was warm. I had to wear like a light jacket. It was warm, and I got out and I rode my bike literally round trip. It was like 9 point something out and 9 point something back. So by the time I got home, I had completed, I think it was 18.7 miles or 18.9 miles. I have to go back and look at the pictures because I was so excited. I took a picture of it and sent it to my mom and my sister and them, showing them how many miles I had covered that day. And I'm not going to lie, I was very sore after that ride. I wasn't sore during the ride. It was when I got back to my car and I got off the bicycle and I was like, whoa. But it was a good hurt. It was refreshing, it was relaxing, and it allowed me to focus on something else. And for the duration of the rest of the month, I committed to once a week, and then most of the part I stuck with it on past July, and I had a wonderful time taking my bike to different locations, riding to checking out different parks and things of that nature. And to get back to the question, what made you decide to take part in that? I love the riding so much, and I felt like such a kid again on my bike, that I heard about RAGBRAI. And I was like, I've never heard of this. And that is how I'm at this point now. I heard about it, and I said that would be a great way to celebrate our birthday months next year as well. And I wanted to at least try it once. Okay, and then the next question is, let me see, bear with me. The next question is, why are you using the e-bike? Well, I touched on that a little bit. I used to have a cycling bike. In my lifetime, I've had three. And I will admit, I was not a big cyclist like my husband was. But when I did go out and ride with him, we rode. My husband was always amazed. He was like, you don't even hardly ride your bicycle. But when you get out here, he said, it doesn't matter how far or how long we go, you're always down for it. And guys, I don't care if I was cycling. I don't care if I was pedaling like a turtle. I just hung in there and made it up those hills and did what I needed to do. Well, when I decided to get me an e-bike, one of the things is I'm older. I want to say since we brought our first cycling bike years ago, I want to say that was 20 something years ago. So I'm not going to tell y'all my age. Forget it. But I want the enjoyment of riding a bicycle. And honestly, I try not to use pedal assist because I do want the exercise. I do need the exercise. Exercise is good for you. And I try not to use pedal assist at all. However, I like the fact that it is there when I need it to get me up some of those steep inclines. And I always try to stick between 0 and 1. Occasionally I go to 2. Every once in a while, if it's a really, really steep hill, I'll go up to 3. And it's just to help get me up that hill. And then I back down because I do want the exercise and I do want to build up endurance and strength for myself. But that is why I chose to go for it, a e-bike, is because I'm older and I'm not trying to hurt anything. I want to continue to enjoy riding. But I'm not going to kid myself. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm not in my 30s anymore. So there we have it. So that's why I have an e-bike. And then I also like the e-bike because I have a foldable e-bike. So I like that for the transportability of it. Because for a long time, after I got this e-bike, I was just putting it in the back of my car with and just folding it that way. But then on a recent trip with my daughter and her fiance, we needed the back seat and I was taking my car. So I actually put it in my trunk, and I was pleasantly surprised. It fit in my trunk perfectly. I had to, of course, lift it up, and even though it's a smaller e-bike, because I have the electric light, I think it's called light. Anyway, I started out with the one above that, and that was heavier. And I ended up selling that and then going with the lighter version so that I could pick it up and handle it and all those good things. And then the next question I thought everyone might be curious about is, what have you done to prepare for your bike ride so far? Actually, to prepare for my bike ride, the main thing, and I touched on this in an update in December, was I am now officially registered for the bike event. And I'm very happy about that. Because you have to pay fees and you have to register, you have to pay fees and all those things. Then the next thing, in January, I was waiting patiently. That's why I didn't say anything either, because there are so many steps for me. I was waiting for them to release the actual date of the bike event, because like I said, this is my first time participating in it, and I don't know if the dates are the same every year or if they change from year to year. And I was also waiting for them to release the route. And once I got the route, I kid you, I happened to look the day they were announcing the route. I got really lucky. And that night, I started looking at overnight places to stay, because I have to have a place to stay at each stop off along the journey or along the ride. So I was waiting for that, because if I don't have a place to stay or I don't know what my accommodations are, then that would have been challenging. There was no need for me to. I could only announce things as I got the information. So within that first 24 hours, I had started setting up my accommodations. Now, keep it in mind, we're in rural areas. So, some of the accommodations can be kind of a little lean, and you might have to be a little farther out than where the actual ride is taking place. But I kid you not, in that first 24 hours, I was on it. And I was looking and seeing, okay, they have rooms available here, they have rooms available there. And by the time I would make up my mind and decide, some of those rooms are already gone. And I'm like, it's just the first 24 hours. And that's another thing I meant to look up. I forgot how many riders they say do this event every year, but it is a large, large amount. Another thing I had to consider was that, another thing I had to do is I've still been working on maintaining my weekly ride. It's winter time. I live in Ohio. It's cold here. And I'm originally from the South, but I've been living here over 20 something years. And I tolerate the cold. I'm not going to say I've ever adapted to it, but I love living in Ohio. I've been here. My children are here. My grandchildren are here. So I tolerate the cold. But getting out of my bicycle can be a little challenging. But I'm very proud of myself, you guys, because all of the footage that I have put up so far, I have actually maintained riding my bicycle once a week, along with other things that I have scheduled and personal things I have going on in my life at this moment. I have maintained, and I won't say if I do a ride on one Friday, I might not be able to do another ride until that Saturday or till that Sunday. But in that 7-day week period, from just that whole week, I am riding my bicycle, and I am very proud of myself for that. So that's one thing that I've continued to do, as well as I've actually lost 17 pounds. I mean, not 17. I'm wishing a little too far. I've lost 13 pounds. So I'm like, yay, because that's my goal. There's a certain weight I want to be at by the time this bike ride starts. I'm not going to tell you guys what that weight is, but I am an honest person, and I will tell you if I lost weight or if I haven't. But my goal is, so far I've lost 13 pounds. And I don't know if you could tell yet, but I was pretty excited about that. And then question number 5, What made you want to start a YouTube channel about it? That's pretty simple. And I know I stated it before, accountability. This is such a big goal for me that if I didn't put it out there and have accountability, and I knew YouTube will really hold you to that accountability, because I myself watch YouTube. I have certain YouTubers that are favorites of mine that I've been watching for several years now. And one thing I've learned, YouTube will definitely hold you accountable. So I figured if I put it out there publicly, there's no going back. No going back. So, like I said, my goal is to do the whole 7 days. And I thought also another reason why I thought it'd be great documentation for me to later go back and say, look what you did. And again, guys, I'm hoping to finish the whole 7 days. Only God knows what will happen, but I'm going to do my best. That's for sure. And then question number 6 that I have that I thought everyone might be interested to know is that it says, let me see, my phone wants to act a little funny. It says, do you have any concerns going into the bike event, or do you have any concerns doing this bike event? My concern is just endurance. And that is why I started, now that we're in winter, at least continuing to ride once a week. And then I pulled up a website, and I forgot the name of the website. I'll have to see if I can find it. But it was about preparing yourself for someone who's never done a bike event of this nature, how to go about preparing yourself for it. And that should help me build up my endurance and my speed. And I know people might say, well, you're going to have an e-bike. Well, let's be honest. An e-bike only goes so many miles using the battery, using pedal assist. If you use that too much and you are not conservative with that battery is gone. It is drained. I'm looking into getting a backup battery because I think my bike is set to carry me either 20 or 25 miles. But we're talking about, I think the shortest day ride could be like 75 miles. The shortest. I have to look into that again. I looked it up, but for right now, that information is kind of escaping me. But I do know. So even though some people say, well, you got an e-bike, let's be realistic. I cannot be using that pedal assist the whole time, period, on any of these days. I have to use it sporadically, because if I don't, I will use up all the juice in that sucker. And e-bikes, guys, are not light. So I don't know if you've ever picked up an e-bike. There might be some that's really light. I forgot how much my light version weighs. I think it's still like 47, 48 pounds, 46 pounds. And the other bike was like 50 pounds. So when I went down, it took off some pounds, but not a huge amount. So that's something I wanted to address too. But that is my main thing, is endurance. That's why during the wintertime, I am riding once a week. That's why I also have reading material that my husband and I have owned for a long time, to remind me of some things that that could help me along the way. I have this one. This was my husband's book, so I have never read this one. Because like I said, he was really into cycling. He used to cycle to work, several miles to work every day when he really got into it. Now, I didn't do that. And then this is a book he brought me years ago. And you see, we have no problems using half-price books. And this is a book he brought me. I read a little bit of it, but I never did read it cover to cover. So I'm going to go back and hit this book cover to cover to give me ideas. And then I came across a website that was that had some very, very good ideas on how to prepare and build up your endurance for any type of bike event. And I also was on the Ragbray website, and some of their tips mimic those tips as well. And one of it was I want to say starting a month out from your event, you start out doing like 7 miles and 10 mile, and you just keep building up and building up and building up until you are doing, I think the website I was reading was like trying to do 75 miles in 3 days or something like that. And those are the things that would be my one concern, is having the endurance to finish day one. And oh, and that's my other thing, I will only be taking this race mentally, physically, one day at a time. Once I start this race on Sunday, I don't want to think about Monday. This is one of those things where you literally have to take it one day. I have to take it one day at a time. And so that's another thing too, mentally. It's just taking it one day at a time, doing my best. I make it to the end goal for that day, celebrating that day, getting a good night's sleep, a good healthy meal, and then day two come, and then I focus on day two. And then I just really, really pray to God that I can make it through the whole 7 days. And I'm like, yay, I did this. I did it. So I hope this gave you a little more insight into what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm going about it. Thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for your time, for supporting again, for liking and subscribing. I hope you have a great day. Bye.